Today's topic is an academic case study about Jehovah's Witness with anemia. First of all, how do you feel about receiving blood? If your life was on the line and you were bleeding to death, would you take blood, yes or no, if it would save your life? Well, I have mixed emotions about this because I have a personal experience with receiving blood products. Having grew up in a home with a parent who was Jehovah's Witness since I was 10 years old, my life was very difficult. My mom had strong beliefs. She became a Jehovah's Witness in the late 80s. So we stopped celebrating holidays and birthday parties and going out and having fun things. We couldn't associate with a lot of our friends and do a lot of things. So our household was very strict. But this point is involving the use of blood and blood products. Jehovah's Witness, I want to give you a little bit of background from my experience with Jehovah's Witnesses. They have strong beliefs. Jehovah's Witness was founded by a minister, Charles Russell, back in the late 1800s, and it kind of came over to the United States like 1870s, and it's been around since then. They even have a Bible. They don't use the Holy Bible, the King James Bible, like we do. They have a new translation is what they call their Bible. Well, one of their strongest beliefs is that they don't receive blood or blood products because they feel like that's an obedience, a disobedience to God. They also don't eat red meat. You know, a lot of steak eaters out there, and I'm a steak eater. If you like your meat medium well or uh, rare, that's something that Jehovah's Witnesses don't do, according to Genesis 9:4, where you don't eat the meat that has life-staining blood in it. So that means even when my dad was a hunter, when he would go out and kill animals, he would have to bleed them first, or my mom wouldn't eat them. Which brings me back to the point about the young person needing the blood transfusion to save their life. It really boils down to a personal choice. Medically, back in the day during the early times, they really had no foolproof way to screen blood or blood products from hepatitis or AIDS or HIV or anything like that. So one of the reasons why they say they didn't receive blood is because of all the diseases and things that you could get from um, having blood transfusions. When I was 26 years old, I had to have emergency surgery. Um, I was pregnant with my last child, and I was 28 weeks. And I ended up giving birth to her early. And the doctors came in and said that she was going to die if she did not get a blood transfusion. Well, having been in a home and having these views and values bestowed upon me, even though I was not an active practicing Jehovah's Witness, I did agree with the fact about receiving blood, and I was afraid that my child might get something, again, being premature and already fighting for her life. I didn't want to do it. So the doctors were very adamant about my daughter having this blood transfusion, and I said no. And they kept coming in my room all that day and asking me would I do it. Well, the very next morning, I got slapped with a uh, court order from the courts that overruled me with child services, and they transfused my daughter without my permission, saying that it was in the best interest of the child. At that time, I did not fight, and I wish I would have to this day, because it was not only my right, it was her right, and she wasn't sick enough. Her lab values weren't low enough where she needed a blood transfusion. She was reticking and making her own blood, and they could have used other products like Epigen or something like that that were synthetic and not blood-borne products from humans, but they didn't do that. Sometimes man gets the godlike complex, and because receiving blood has and can save many of lives, but again, it boils down to a personal choice. It can be life-threatening, but there are no studies that show that by not receiving blood that it can cause you death, or that it will actually save your life. So that theory has not been proven, and I've searched and searched and searched before I did the presentation to find that out. It is a personal belief, and it's kind of hard to be put off in that situation, and it can be life-threatening. But again, it is a personal choice whether to receive or not receive blood products. What if my daughter catches HIV? That's a fear I worry about every day, and she's 19 years old because she has not been tested. And if something were to come up like that, whose fault would it be? Mine or the courts? Because my mind, how do they know that she wouldn't have survived if she had not received the blood? But they didn't give me that option. So I really feel like it comes down to a personal choice. If someone is underage and or less than 21 years old or 18 years old and the parents have to make that decision, I really feel like it's ultimately up to the parents, just like vaccinating your children. Some people choose not to vaccinate their children. And again, I think it is a personal choice and that we should respect people's opinion in that matter. And that is my opinion about that. Thank you.